Alright, so this is for B2B teams, IT services and consultancy companies. Today I'm going to tell you like how you can create a demands in B2B campaign that brings you 10 to 15 ready to go project requests every single month. So this is like a very definitive guide on closing projects that have an annual value of greater than $200,000, because this is what your ideal size should be, right, of clients. Now, if you're interested in us setting up this for you, what you can do is directly book a call with me over here with this link, or what you can do is just directly message me on LinkedIn or maybe on Instagram. Just DM me B2B growth and I will understand that you are actually trying to set up a call with me. All right, so first of all, I want to share with you some of the marketing campaigns we ran for some of our clients. So these are all our IT company. All right, so first one is Brandon Wilmer. He's the VP of product development at Bible Technologies. Basically ran the campaign for Bloxbytes. All right, so Bloxbytes is a subsidiary of Bible Technology. It is in the industry of like Web 3.0 companies and gaming industry. It serves these kinds of companies, and basically we closed two projects for them worth $110,000 and $95,000 in contracted value on trial basis. Basically these projects were just for a period of 2 months, and if the client likes the services, they are going to of course continue the services. I have attached the testimonial video of Brandon as well. You can have a look at this. Then case study 2 is of Pablo. He is from ASAP Developers. We did $300,000 in revenue for them with a 37% reply rate. They work with healthcare companies based out of the US, and the time frame which took us to close these deals was 60 days. We launched an ABM campaign for ASAP Developers that generated $300,000 in revenue and had a 37% reply rate. So their target demographics were two kinds of companies. So the first one were startups with less than 40 employees and healthcare practices as well that needed help with specific features according to the US medical standards. And the second type of companies they wanted to work with were the ones which had like 50 to 200 employees that are looking to build a robust patient engagement system basically. So we sent out the prospect specific case studies and the sales assets that were specifically curated for them on the basis of their recent hires, their public releases, their vision or interviews and activities on LinkedIn profiles of top committee members. And some stats were like we got like 12 replies out of 30 accounts we reached out to, 20% success rate, that is $300,000 in revenue. Case study 3 is of Rick. He is the founder at IQ Lab, and we got him 4 ready to go opportunities in 3 months. We again launched an ABN campaign for them. Their target was solar and renewable energy companies based out of the US, and it took us 3 frames to get these 4 projects for them. We started with this campaign on LinkedIn. We got a revenue potential of like $1.2 million over the next 365 days. So if you want to see more case studies in depth from some of our other clients, you can just visit to this link, just click on this link and maybe see like what we have done for other clients as well. So these are just handful of clients making it rain while saving much of their time, sweat and energy by not jumping on irrelevant sales calls, discovery calls, joining various mastermind groups, and instead dedicating their focus to efficient operations and service fulfillment for increased customer retention. So this Google document, this presentation is going to share with you how to do the same for your company as well. We started working with specifically IT companies from September of 2022, and since then we have worked with 9 companies with 100% success rate. We delivered projects to each and every company we worked with, valued between $90,000 to $550,000 for each of them. So I've implemented the same formula which I'm about to share in this Google document for myself, and I have refined it over the last 2.5 years. Really, like I have been working on this formula for the last 2.5 years, and it has been working wonders for me. So I'm sharing the juice with you right over here. I'm going to be really very honest. I'm going to share with you everything so that you can implement this by yourself as well. So this is for you if you run an IT company that provides software development, app development, web development, cybersecurity services, or you are a consultancy firm or a staffing agency and you have been burned down by other marketing agencies that claim to bring you relevant appointments or relevant opportunities, or you want to bring in high value B2B projects from well established companies in your target market. You are feeling anxious because you have committed to growth goals, which is like the case with most of the companies. They commit growth goals which are not really achievable and hitting quarterly targets, but it's not looking like you will be able to hit them, right? Or you have some great case studies and success story from the clients you have worked with in the past, but you don't know how to leverage them in order to get projects in a very specific industry. Or you are sick and tired of agencies claiming to give you projects on a commission basis. Honestly speaking, they turn out to be worthless at the end of the day and later tell you there are hidden fees attached to their service. Or you have built some audience on LinkedIn or Twitter or maybe some other platform, but you don't know how to leverage them in order to get inquiries, right? Or you have relied too much on referrals, which is the case with most of the IT companies, but they are very inconsistent, and you don't know when your next project is actually going to come in, right? So the bottom line is, if you're searching for the right method that the other successful IT companies have been using, that is the quickest, is no BS, and the most cost effective for client acquisition, and helps you consistently close 4 to 5 6 figure deals every 3 months moving forward. This training will show you how to do it. So I want to talk about the saturation level this IT industry is actually facing currently. Your target customers are tired of the same outbound cannibalism with direct response offers, no value upfront, high pressure sales pitches. They're tired of seeing the same crappy DM format surfacing all around social media, cold emails, and irrelevant sales calls disguised as strategy sessions. So for selling a B2B product or service, it is important for the company to realize, for you to as well realize, that these methods are not going to work as a standalone approach. These methods are not going to work in 2023 and beyond. Most of the IT companies are looking for projects that they can close at the quickest with no intention of sorting out the problem of the other company. Like you can close IT projects that come from referrals at the quickest, but if you want to close prospects that have come only from direct outreach, or maybe are cold prospects, then it is very challenging for them to go from awareness to a 6 figure deal in a few meetings talking to someone. You need to understand from their perspective as well. Going very specific with the approach, and market segmentation is the new sexy, I would say, in the IT industry. These kinds of Google documents plus a library of sales assets, VSLs, content pieces on LinkedIn, combined with a value first outreach message to a specific group, is all you need to scale your company to 6-7 figure annual rate and above. Now this is not for you if you think you have all the answers and the knowledge to build the business you have always dreamed of. Since you have got access to all the mastermind groups courses out there, but still struggle to have a profitable project acquisition system, or you simply cannot sit down for 20 to 30 minutes and pay attention to a video that has the potential of making you millions of dollars. If that's you, please quit the page. I don't want you to read the document first. So we are the only one dedicated to solving this problem and getting project acquisition for IT companies sorted in the market. Go around and search, please. You won't find any other companies solving this problem of project acquisition for IT companies. So what is the right, and how do you use it to work on projects that you quote the price for when faced with fierce competition and difficulty in building trust with these potential clients? Here are the steps. You need to have a solid GTM, go-to-market strategy, and buyer enablement. You learn more about your buyers, their pain points, about their market, take their interviews for better understanding. Second is, you get traffic and eyeballs to a very specific piece of content that makes the other person like you. That could be done with the help of hand raisers. That's a term coined by Sean Anthony, using simple emails and social posts, or running ads. Sales assets and micro VSLs enable a potential customer to make their decision quickly and confidently at the subconscious level. This is a must-have. We will be discussing about this later. You qualify the leads on the basis of campaign orchestration, dividing the interested accounts in multiple tiers according to the resources. You simply message or chat with these accounts on LinkedIn, or maybe a quick phone call, whether they qualify for your services or not. You connect with interested prospects in the meeting who already have the budget and are familiar with you through the specific content you shared with them, and you will be able to sign up them in maximum 2 calls because they are already aware of. I will share about this later in the document. So it all comes down to getting targeted traffic. You can use any social media platform or maybe run ads, but if you're not able to get right people to your funnel with your messaging, then you're probably going to waste your time. So this is where messaging and the offer, at least on the front end, plays a huge role. So you focus and optimize for the funnel. That is it. So I will share with you the steps more in detail later, but first of all, I would like to give you an intro about myself. So I am a Karshid Mahajan, a computer science plus a minor in international graduate from international business graduate from King's College London. I previously partnered up with a YouTube ads agency, which we ended up selling for multiple 6 figures in August 2022. So I want to share the track record so far. From 2019 to 2020, I was running a print on demand store selling canvases, and I sold it to a firm based out of the US. Then from 2020 to 2022, I started a YouTube ads agency for high ticket e-com businesses that had an average order value of greater than $500, and sold it to a US based ad tech firm in August 2022. And then thereafter, I started with Trackle, and I'm scaling it to 7-figure run rate right now. And the system you will be learning in this document is the exact system I used to this day after finding a superior way to finding clients without having to rely on any endless outbound machine and managing big and effective marketing departments, and without breaking the bank figuring out the right messaging while focusing more on day-to-day operations. So if you want to see more of my content and see what I am actually trying to do and how I'm solving the problem for IT companies specifically, you can just go on my Twitter or maybe on LinkedIn, or maybe watch my videos on YouTube, and you will be able to see how I'm helping people solve this problem of project acquisition. So if you want IMINs for your project proposals, you need to have a GTM, go to marketing strategy. So let's start with the definition first of all. So GTM is basically a clear path from point A, where you are right now, to point B, revenue targets and other objectives with necessary resources. So for the longest time, struggling IT entrepreneurs invested into programs where they either get generic advice on how to do marketing research, which is absolutely unheard, thinking their client avatar and I help statement in their bio will cut it. No, that's not going to work for you, honestly speaking. If you just write in your LinkedIn bio that I help these kinds of people, then that is definitely not going to work for you, right? They get told on who to sell to, what to sell, and how to sell it, being a commodity from the get-go, aka they're just one more in the crowd. You may have noticed that as an entrepreneur, understanding your target niche, current environment, and competitors mechanisms can be challenging. This lack of insight may lead to difficulties in effectively communicating your business solution to addressable problems. So these are some of the questions I would want you to actually ask yourself. Who are you going to market? What's your target market? All right, first of all, have a very specific target market. Don't be a generic in the industry. Work with only very specialized kinds of people. Like, so for example, if you want to work with healthcare companies, just work with them. How are you going to stand out and differentiate your service while resonating with your target market? Where are these buyers searching for professional information, and how do they buy? How are you going to attract their attention and make them interested in your service? What talent and budget do you need? Do you need to hire offshore developers for a specific need they have? How will you measure the efficacy of your strategy? These are some of the questions you should ask yourself. Now, the first step is market segmentation, and this comes before even deciding upon your ICP, that is the ideal customer profile, doing revenue analysis, objectives, and maybe having some goals, etc. So if you don't really know what your market is, then how is it possible for you to decide how much cash they have to afford your services? Your aim is not to be the cheapest one, but the one with the best quality services at justifiable prices. All right. So what we have learned through countless iteration and testing angles is that your sales messaging, not your offer to the target group, makes competition absolutely irrelevant. All right. I want you to consider two scenarios. Company A, it's a software development company started in 2016, has worked with 50 clients, but hasn't really documented anything in the content format since their inception. Company B, it's also a software development company. It started back in 2019, has worked with 50 plus clients, but the founders decided to document each of their case studies right from the beginning. Who are you actually going to trust more? It's company B, right? They have a bunch of social content and personal branding of the founder floating around on LinkedIn or other social media platforms. They have kept their blog up to date and conduct regular client interviews. Even if you haven't done anything in the past running your company, you don't need to worry. The time right now is to monetize your strategy in a way that you only show your prospects what you want in a structured format. So for ASAP developers, it just took us 5 days to create 15 pieces of content, that is sales assets, that help them significantly in closing those kinds of deals. But this doesn't end here. The second step is validating your offer, your strategy with free traffic, that is optimizing the front end offer and back end delivery mechanism for scale. So you need to narrow down your focus on identifying solvable marketing goals based on marketing propositions and come up with a foundational PP, that is the promise you're actually trying to make, plus the positioning in the market and how you're actually differentiating from other IT companies. So I like to categorize IT projects into these 3 buckets. Now that really depends what your categorization of different kinds of IT projects is, but I like to categorize IT projects into these 3 buckets. So the first one are low scale projects. These are usually below $100,000 that have an annual value of less than $100,000, well suited for new age startups and small to medium sized businesses, SMBs. Then we have medium scale projects. So medium scale projects usually range from $100,000 to $1 million and are with companies that have like very multiple components. These are for like proper startup. Then I like to subcategorize these medium sized projects into 2 kinds of levels, 2 tiers. Basically, tier 1 is for the projects that have a budget of like $100,000 to $500,000, and it is ideal for mid-sized organizations seeking substantial IT solutions. Then comes the tier 2 projects. Budgets range from $500,000 to $1 million, more extensive with higher complexity and are suitable for high value startups and a relatively larger organization with greater requirements. Then comes enterprise level projects. These are the kinds of projects I don't really work upon. I mostly work upon medium level projects, but the enterprise level projects are the ones that have an annual value of greater than $1 million. So depending upon the complexity of the projects you have handled in the past, you should be able to present the case studies of those projects to acquire more relevant projects according to their scale, right? So for example, we recently worked with a company to deliver them appointments with healthcare practices based out of the UK. So here were the target demographics. They wanted to target Great Britain only. Their target companies were healthcare practices with 3 to 5 branches and employees with in the range of 50 to 100, and they must be owned privately. So this is like the top layer of running any campaign to towards targeted towards such companies. Just on the basis of the ICP provided by the software development company, we decided to go for tier 1 medium scale projects that fall in the range of $300,000 to $500,000 in annual value for this particular scenario. Since the team had worked with multiple other healthcare practices across Europe, it served as an entry point for them to showcase their relevant case studies to the target market. This in turn would make them resonate with their prospects more effectively. Now you might ask, like, that's fine, but what about getting the attention of people? How do you get people into your funnel? Now it's time. Now we need to study how to get eyeballs. There are many ways to do that, but I like to do these kinds of ways, at least in the starting. These ways are the best for you to actually try. The first one is LinkedIn validation hand raises. The second one is outbound prospecting. So first of all, LinkedIn validation hand raiser is that you tap into your existing assets, that is your social media following. It is incredible how much people live on the bone here. They spend time, money and energy building new assets, but in reality you already have a pile of cash sitting on your social media accounts. There's a fortune sitting on your social media accounts, existing assets. You just need to present an offer in front of people they would feel stupid saying no to. You might ask, does this work in high value development B2B packages? Yes, it does. Here is an example. Here you can see some of the replies we got for an offer we were promoting via LinkedIn hand raiser post. Basically, this post on LinkedIn got over 150 reactions, 30 comments, and the most surprising part is that we got 6 highly qualified leads. The reason being, we were just targeting one specific group. Maximum of the connections on this account were in the fintech space. Just makes sense why it popped up, right? This is called a hand raiser. Imagine the energy it would take for you to reach out to hundreds or maybe thousands of people for your offer. The beauty of a hand raiser is you can post them anywhere for free, every day for free. Thousands of people see them at once. It warms your audience up to what you do. It gets you perfect people to slide into your inbox. This was like the direct pitch offer. So it's basically what you're doing is you are directly promoting your offer, what you're actually trying to do. Or you're targeting very specific groups. For example, you are only targeting companies that have more than 50 employees in the health tech space, and you're just directly mentioning that in the offer itself. Alright, then comes outbound prospecting. So here's the drill. What you need to do is prepare a list of 1,000 people using LinkedIn Sales Navigator who perfectly fit your criteria. Now that really depends on what kind of companies you usually work with, but you get the point, right? Put the list of these people in Galaxy. So basically it's a LinkedIn automation tool, and send them a connection campaign. If your LinkedIn profile is optimized enough and has enough content addressing relevant people in the list, expect to have a 20% connection request at least and a 5% reply rate. What should be the messaging, you might ask? So this is like the template I like to follow for LinkedIn. Alright, so first of all, of course, address the other person by their name. Then you need to add a free relevant content piece personalized to the prospect, and just add this line at the end. Just reply with a yes and I will send it over to you. Thanks, your name. This works well as you're not trying to sell anything directly in the DMs. Instead, you're asking for permission to send them a content piece which is very relevant to them. Let's again take the example of healthcare companies. Let's say you're targeting healthcare companies. You're reaching out to the CEOs or founders or the owners of those companies. Here's what your outreach message should. Hi Rob, got a 5-star review about your practice from one of my friends who attended your wellness workshop. I was just wondering, would you be interested in having a look at an independent research we carried out recently on patient engagement rates after taking interviews of 25 owners of healthcare practices based out of the Midlands? Just reply with a yes and I will send it over. This outreach message does a great job at addressing a healthcare professional who owns a practice, is based out of the Midlands, and is given a relatable compliment. Compliment plays a huge role, I would say. Like if you can have a compliment which is very personalized to the other person, then it works well. If you don't really want to add a compliment, that is fine as well. That doesn't really change the reply rate, I would say, but your targeting should be on point. Alright, so here are some stats. One of the outbound campaigns I ran for myself, 43% reply rate. But you won't believe it, but this is like the easiest part. Getting traffic is the easiest part. What happens after this decides whether the other person is going to show interest in your services or not. This is where middle of funnel comes into play. Now let's talk about sales assets and micro VSLs for qualification. You have started to see some traffic opting in for what you have to offer. Now, how to take them from someone who consumes your specific content for the first time to someone who actually purchases your services, who becomes your buyer, right? This could be done by showing them more relevant content pieces that are structured in a way that clear all their objections. So most of the people, what they do is they get on discovery calls with each lead. Understand from their perspective as well. They don't know about you. They're not aware of you. You haven't proven your worth to them. Why would they make a buying decision on a discovery call itself? You need to educate them. You need to qualify them. This is done by showing them a wide range of sales assets across platforms. All right. They haven't really come across you previously. Why would they trust you, right? So you have to build trust in them. I've done this on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and even email. From what I have experienced, you can't just have one long form video, sales letter, or a landing page anymore. That doesn't work simply right now. This is not me saying, oh, you should actually go for omni-channel approach. This is me saying objectively, the best sales processes have a bunch of VSLs, video sales letter. Each video must solve one objection at a time. High level buyers know the drill. They are already aware of all your marketing techniques, VSLs, opt-ins, email list, everything. As sophistication level increases at the macro level, this also increases the need to justify with the customer and their specific needs, fears, external forces impacting them, and etc. What everyone will try to do moving forward is leverage direct response, but do it in a way that continuously adapts to the relevant tactics as they arise. The reason why it works so well is because you gain reputation alongside you promoting your offer. Basically, this is all about psychology. And the best part is that you don't need to get on call after call to clarify their objections, right? If they are already aware of you, if they have got all their objections cleared, then why would they want to get on a call multiple times again and again with you? They could just show the sales content which you have prepared to their partners, which would actually make them take their decision faster, right? So you need to note this. The job of marketing is to build awareness and attract leads. The job of a sales call is to close a sale. Yet most of the IT industry tries to use sales call as a marketing tool to prove your worth. Don't do that on calls. Do that with the help of your content. With your sales assets in the form of content, you can clean up and close only those prospects that show intent. And you do it from wherever the hell you want. I have, like, personally for myself as well and for my clients as well, I have closed deals that have upwards of like $30,000 per month in MRR while making content for them from a beach, flying to London and sitting on rooftops overlooking the cityscape. The purpose of your content, that is the sales assets, is to pre-nurture them and make them aware of your company's services. They build more parasocial relationships and add definition plus selling at the same time. This is like the sauce. Use a CTA to the rest of your content and the people will enter an indefinite loop directing them to chat with you on a call, right? Essentially the process is a new age optimized B2B sales funnel from lead generated to lead booked to lead closed, plus providing systems, SOPs and thesis to able to break through plateau. This includes basically making 1-minute videos for Instagram or LinkedIn. These are basically called micro VSLs, in which you are actually sharing your case studies or maybe something which you have already done in the past. Then comes the long form videos on YouTube for nurturing the audience, right? These kinds of videos. Then sending cold emails or LinkedIn DMs to people for a content piece, like sharing a very specific content piece that makes them enter a loop where you share more content with them basically. So this outbound content piece leads them into a content loop from which they cannot really escape, provided they appreciate your strategies and of course find the questions related to their needs. So here is a content calendar you can use. Basically, I have given you the content calendar over here, sales asset 1, 2, 3 and 4, and accordingly the days over here. Now on the surface, this kind of calendar might seem very hectic to you because you have to conduct interviews with your clients and prepare video testimonials, right? You have to write like Google documents, but this is like what sells at this point in time. All right, but this is like the same calendar we followed also for ASAP developers, which help them close a 6-figure annual deal. This works. Keep the weekends to yourself. I don't want you to use your Saturdays and Sundays to build these sales assets. But one thing to note over here is that you keep posting on LinkedIn every single day to attract organic attention. In the beginning, this amount of sales content, I would say, is sufficient to convert a new prospect into a buyer. Make sure to have a CTA at the end of each and every sales content for interested prospects to chat with you, and send them this sequence of content over a period of time until they show interest in your offer. Now moving on to the advanced strategy of personal touch by breaking them into multiple tiers. Now let's talk about campaign orchestration and diving deep into each account. By now you must have got people who have started to show interest in your offer, right? I have told you the sauce over here, how to get traffic and how to get people who are interested in your offer, but all of them are definitely not going to be qualified for your services, right? So remember, never disclose your prices before jumping on a call with people. Don't disclose what your hourly rates are or what your milestone rates are, whatever it is. All right, if you do so, this will increase friction and might lead to a longer sales cycle. So if you do your chat conversation and the framing of your sales content right, you will have your leads 80% of the way sold. All right, not on your pricing, I would say, but on your concept and strategy in general. And most of the people will also be sold on your pricing as well, because they have already seen your content and they are by themselves jumping on a call with you. They are booking a call with you in your calendar by themselves, right? So now we need to invite them for a meeting. All right, send them a 3 to 5 minute regular VSL stating your offer and the CTA to book a call with you if they haven't already done with the help of your sales content. But before jumping on a call with them, here's a key thing which you can do actually to make them more interested. Prepare a detailed report on each of them in regards to their needs, their operational processes, their regulatory and compliance compliance requirements, marketing and visibility, and public reviews. For example, let's say you are targeting healthcare companies. Here is what it should look like. Healthcare company based in the US, does $10 million in annual revenue, has 25 employees spread across 3 states and 3 branches, hasn't implemented a patient engagement system for increased patient satisfaction and increased referral business, etc. Based on these points, you can develop a custom strategy for them in a 2 to 3 page Google document, which you can share during the meeting, and they will undoubtedly appreciate it because they are already sold, right? And if they get a custom strategy for which they didn't even ask, it's a cherry on the top. I would say it is highly likely they would continue with you actually and ask for a custom proposal with pricing. Remember, the magic is not in the Google doc which you are sending afterwards. It's what happens before. Right? Like, you shared content with them, they trust you. The Google doc is basically a final nudge over the line. If you send them a 2 to 3 strategy doc without any pre-nurturing, when they're not even aware of you, or they will think, oh, likely this is another development company trying to pitch their services. This process works so well when you target companies that fall under the tier 1 level, okay, the $100,000 to $500,000 level as mentioned above, right? So here is like a chart I have prepared over here. So you share a very specific piece of content with your prospects, then they go through a bunch of sales assets which you have prepared in the back end, then they go through the sales mechanism that is middle of funnel, and then you close them at the end of the day. That is like simple as that. I have run this mechanism in the fintech, healthcare, and hospitality, and many more industries, selling packages from $50,000 to $550,000 from the clients. I'm sure you can go higher than that. On average, you are going to see 40 to 50% acceptance rate on proposals you send out if cater to their needs. Okay, and I want to tell you about one of the companies we worked with. It was like it was an IT company based out of the UK only, and they were in talks with an oil and gas company that is like an enterprise company with more than 20,000 employees for like 6 to 7 months, and they were not able to close that deal. The people in that oil and gas company didn't really have any trust in them. That's when we came in and tried to build the sales content for them, and when they shared sales content with them, oil and gas company, they were able to close that deal in like 3 months just because of the sales content. That is why it works, honestly speaking. It like nothing else can work. Share as many proposals as you want, share as many like agreements or custom strategies you want. If you have content built out on social media platforms, that is going to be working wonders for you, mark my words. Then comes pipeline management and marketing reports. So hunting for new leads is the biggest mistake you can make. People who have shown you some interest in your content or have replied back on a hand raiser or are the ones who you should run a very targeted ABM campaign towards. Let's say you spend 1 month in your marketing efforts to get 20 new prospects to your pipeline. Out of those, you get on a meeting with 5 and are able to just close 2. What happened to the other 18? You left the other 18, right? Like, nurture them with more content, prove your worth, add them to an email sequence, send them physical proposals, packages to the targeted accounts. Try to differentiate yourself what other companies are actually trying to do. Many of the other companies will not really invest in sending physical packages because they believe it's a waste of time. They tend to believe that increasing the volume of outreach is the key to attracting interested prospects, which is completely untrue. It's hard to convert a new prospect than someone who has already shown interest in your services. This is where commission only sales reps come into play. They're God for me, honestly. These guys are responsible for trying to convert the prospect into a paying customer and are only paid commissions on a deal. You need to touch base with your leads at a one-on-one level, and these sales reps have a formula for penetrating your offer through the market, making it the exclusive option, specially tailored to meet your individual's requirements. So we call them sales integrators. These people are highly specialized in penetrating your offer. You're presenting your offer, directing prospects to your content, talking one-on-one with prospects on calls to solve their problems, evaluating your one-page proposals, which we discuss about later, and are highly incentivized or fully aligned to maintain your business growth, since their compensation is dependent on your revenue going up. I have appointed sales indicators for the clients we are working with, and they have seen a massive 40% higher acceptance rate on proposals over a period of 3 months. That's an increase of 40% in potential projects out of the existing leads they have shown interest. So I want you to maintain these kinds of numbers and metrics when running ABM campaigns and when running campaigns for your company as well. So I've listed some terminologies over here, some ABM campaign terminologies over here. So yeah, you can have a look at it. You need to set up the right metrics for your every hand raiser or ads campaign you are running. You can't measure the efficiency of your paid ads or outreach on LinkedIn that promote your top content pieces by leads or revenue. The goal of this campaign is to warm up and nurture your target audience. Hence, every campaign should have an individual reports with leading indicators, metrics that are not directly connected to the revenue but showing the campaign progress. Alright. So example, leading indicators for LinkedIn, you can track from day one our number of connection requests sent, connection request acceptance rate, reply rate to the first message, overall campaign reply rate with followers, of course, number of followers, inbound requests from content, media invites, content piece sent to how many number of people. Example, leading contents for ads, let me list that as well. Ad engagement rate, clicks, page visits, opt-in rate, VSL page views, number of people who requested for content piece, number of DMs. If you set up the above step, you can easily connect the dots and create a marketing report on increased revenue, pipeline and revenue sourced, engaged accounts that were transferred to ABM or sales connectors, sales pipeline velocity changes. If your target is to sign up like just 5 more companies over the next 3 years, that could be achieved in 3 months as well. However, I would recommend that you only sign up as many clients as you can effectively handle at once. B2B decision, after all, you already know, is all about customized and personalized help. So you can also follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram to see like what kind of projects we are closing for our clients with the help of hand raisers. Now let's talk about let's go to the summary and what are the next steps. The traditional way of growing a B2B business through referrals is no longer effective. That's an unreliable method, I would say, in 2023 and beyond. To bolt on a demand generation system that generates 10 to 15 ready to go project inquiries, you need to follow these steps. Let's go over the steps we discussed once more. Implement a go-to-market strategy for buyer enablement. Validate your offer with free traffic. Create sales assets and micro VSLs for qualification and middle of funnel. Orchestrate the campaign and dive deep into each account. Manage your pipeline with the help of sales integrators and create detailed marketing reports. Now you can do it alone or with the help of your team, which is extremely challenging. It took me like 2.5 years to figure this out and refine it after working with multiple sectors. It could take you a long time since you don't really know about this method. You are going to try it for the first time. You are going to develop your own method, your own hand raisers, not sure where to actually search, and chances are you will simply come up with a commoditized offer. If you work with us, we will set up this for you and bring 15 inbound ready to go project inquiries every single month. You will get results much faster and much quicker than if you were to do it alone. We will be responsible for creating a GTM, go to market strategy, for your company immediately. We will be responsible for curating a bunch of sales assets for your company. You will have me helping you craft hand raisers to flood your campaign with relevant leads. You will be able to close multiple 6-figure projects in a relatively short sales cycle. You will be able to pre-nurture and sell the prospects on a process via these kinds of Google Talks. And you will be able to scale this in a lean, super profitable, and with a pipeline full for the months to come, working with your dream prospects. All this done for you right from the start. You don't need to rely on any third-party marketing agencies to fill in your pipeline with relevant prospects. It is expensive to work with us, but a fraction of the cost of what you are going to make if you just close one project out of this, and I guarantee results. We only sign up 3 companies per quarter, as we want to make sure that we maintain the quality and give you unique projects to work upon. So if you are reading this Google Doc, then consider yourself lucky, as we have spots open. Again, this is for IT companies that provide software, web development, or cyber security services, and for consultancy firms as well that sell B2B packages of more than $100,000 in annual value and want to bolt on a demand gen system and get 15 ready to go project inquiries in the next 30 days. Let's talk on the other side. You can schedule a call with me over here, or maybe message me on Instagram, or maybe on LinkedIn, and let's go on from there. Thank you.